Imagine for a moment, if you can, that one of your children joins the United States military. Think of what that's like. Your kid leaves your house for the first time, goes off out into the world on their own, and as a parent, you kind of partially entrust the fact that they're going to a respectable institution that will guide them and shape them in their craft. The other part of you is terrified because your child is leaving your sight and your immediate area for the first time. It's a child you raised. It's a child you know. This is your child. This is your family's future. Now, imagine that your kid goes off into a theater of combat and fights a war for 20 years. Think what that's like. Like, I don't know what that's like. None of my kids are old enough to know will I ever allow them to join the U.S. military. But I can only imagine the stress that put my mother under, or my parents in general. Some of my family, I guess. I mean, let's be honest, most people didn't know I was gone. But I often think about that. Now imagine that your kid was killed, murdered by the ineptitude of the commander-in-chief during the Afghanistan pullout, where the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Services, orchestrated a military action that was akin to a Bell's palsy victim doing brain surgery with a pipe wrench. Like, an operation that was as fucked up as a football bat. Common sense would have dictated. Anyone with a brain would have done what they did differently. I'm not going to go into it, but if you want to chat with me about it, I gladly will. So imagine your kid now is one of the last dozen armed service members killed in this foreign war. 20-year-long war, and your kid is among the last dozen or so. Never mind the injured. Imagine that the president never even reaches out with an explanation. The consoler-in-chief. Good old Uncle Joe. Good Grandpa Joe. Imagine there's no phone call, no condolences, nothing. Now imagine they spin it as a success, or they memory hole it in the media. They pass the blame, they pass the buck. Your kid is being used as a political ping pong ball. Now imagine you're invited to the State of the Union, and you're among many people who shout out during this session of angry old man yells at clouds. Imagine you're arrested and you're charged. Wow. I guess if this Gold Star dad was yelling about abortion, he would be probably applauded, right? But he's yelling about a subject that brings a negative light to good old Grandpa Joe. That's not allowed. So this poor bastard was charged and arrested. I can't believe that. Now, look, I know that that's not Joe Biden's fault in that moment because he was busy, trying to figure out where the fuck he was while he was screaming about how half the country was terrible and slurring his words. But he could have, at the end of the speech, because I'm sure he was briefed. I hope he was briefed. He could have said, no, don't arrest that guy. He's a grieving father. We did kind of fuck things up a little bit. Got his kid killed. Why don't you not charge him and have that family come to the Oval, bring Secret Service, come to the Oval, and we're gonna talk. I'm gonna be the consoler-in-chief that I was billed as. Nope. Instead, Joe Biden slipped on his non-shoelaced shoes and shuffled out of there. I'll tell you what, if he would have had the charges dropped because he can, and invited that Gold Star dad to the White House or to a meeting, or invited them to a future meeting, I would have had a lot more respect for Joe Biden. I really would have. I would applaud him for that. But nothing. I guess the bottom line I'm going for here is don't let your kids join the military. No. Anyways, yeah. Happy Monday.